And Francisco, let me get your take on what we've seen in copper. It's been, throughout my career, a predictor of economic growth. Do you still see it that way?
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the interesting things about copper is that, to the earlier point, we've seen this huge amount of stimulus coming into the economy, supporting the market. But remember one thing: the trade shock that we saw this year, the drop in the purchase of goods, was kind of half the scale of what we saw back in 2008, 2009, with twice the stimulus, right? So the fiscal and monetary stimulus. So one of the unique things about this crisis is that even though mobility has come to a standstill and the services sector has stumbled, mainly hospitality, and we talked about airlines before, if you think about copper's really benefited from a continued, to your earlier point, continued shopping demand. People have continued to buy things, and they've continued to buy things in the US and all around the world. So that's kept factories humming. So almost as soon as we saw the lockdowns end in the month of May, or start to end, we saw all the demand for copper come back pretty quick. And now we're looking at the next few years, and people are realizing that copper in particular is key to our decarbonization efforts, which obviously under a Biden presidency starting in 20 days, is going to take the demand for the red metal to a new level. Remember, copper is key for decarbonization of the mobility sector. So as we move from internal combustion to electric vehicles, copper demand is going to pick up. We're going to see copper demand to electrify or rather to decarbonize the electricity sector. And then we're also going to see strong demand for copper to decarbonize the industrial sector. So copper kind of goes through the eye of the entire decarbonization process. So there's a lot of things going for copper right now, and I think they'll continue to go. We are constructive the metal. We see as one of the winners of 2021 and 2022 here.
Listen, Francisco, I want to push into that a little bit further, because I think that's going to be one of the significant trends of 2021, this whole idea of decarbonization, of the green movement. You know, Tesla now in the S&P 500, Enphase, which is a company that makes solar power work, they are going to be put into the S&P 500. There is something going on much more significantly. We know we've been moving towards a greener world, but there is something that feels like that happened in 2021 as a result of the world being shut down. We could see mountains, we could see cleaner skies, that I think the world is looking at the green world of investing and just a greener environment overall differently. So how does that continue to play out? You talk about copper. Does that become even a more significant investment trend come 2021?
Yes, I think so. I think decarbonization is bullish metals, and particularly is bullish copper, number one, but also other metals like nickel, which are used in battery technology, also lithium, cobalt, silver, platinum, when you think about hydrogen, and even steel, to be honest. I mean, you need a lot of steel to decarbonize, ironically. So I think these trends are very entrenched, and certainly infrastructure spending over the next few years, which I think governments will come down to, will also be at the heart of the spending when it comes to metals. And then one last thing to mention is that this year, I mean, you pointed out before, but governments have gotten a lot bigger, right? I mean, this is a year where we had to fill the gap left by the private sector with government spending. And that's kind of what's created also this huge transformational capacity. Governments are just simply a lot bigger, and they got to keep spending money and keep people employed. So yes, I think there's something going on there.